start. So so on that day we have seen till autocomplete, right? So we'll see one more control today, like how we can actually create menus, right? So for each app, right, you would have seen something like context menus. We call normally them as context menus, right? So here the button will be there. So in your Android phone, so the menu button will be at, I mean, or either it will be, normally it will be at left side, because every Android phone will have three buttons, as I said, right? The middle button will be home button, right? And you have your left button for going back or closing the app, and other button will be your menu button, which is also called as a context menu button, right? So by default, whenever you create any activity, right, so by default there will be one set of menu. I mean, it will be created, it will create, actually it's one create. Let me run it again. So basically what happens, by default it will actually create one menu, which is settings menu, and there won't be any thing, I mean there won't be any task being done in that, right? Normally it basically doesn't give any menu options. That's why if you remember yesterday when we were creating this, right, we deleted our something called on menu option, right? On create menu option. If you want, you can keep that, otherwise just remove. So when I click on menu, right, you'll actually get something called settings, right? So this is by default which we normally get, right? But we are more interested on custom menus, right? So normally why do we get menus is, maybe you want to share this app to someone, right? Maybe you want to bookmark this app. There can be anything, right? It all depends on what exactly your requirement is. But today we'll see how to create a custom menu and how to actually handle whenever you click on each menu, right? So that is something which is very important, right? Now we'll just start up with that. So shall I create a separate project for that, guys?
Yes, please.
Yeah, so that I'll create the project with menu name.
Because then it's less confusing, at least for me.
No issues. I'll create a separate project. So let me call it as menu project something, and let me give com.sr.menu object, right? Click on next, and you have next and blank activity next, and okay. So this is our main separate project we have created, right? Now what we are going to do here is, let me create a new activity. I don't want to touch the main activity, so let me create other Android activity. Click on next, blank activity. Here let me call it as something called menu activity, right? So leave everything, because we are not going to we are going to create something called menu, and we are not interested on different controls in this, right? So in menu, in main activity, let us connect the second activity. So whenever this activity loads, so always our activity main will be loaded, right? Because this is the first activity which is being registered with our manifest file as a launcher activity. So here let me create an intent. So we have int is equal to, we have new intent of something called main activity dot this. So I want to move to menu activity dot class. And just say start activity of some intent. So this will take you to settlement. Okay, fine. So till this part, our action of main activity ends. So now we are in main activity, which is activity menu. Now here, so what we have to do, the first step what we have to do here is, this is the step where we are going to touch other resource things. So as of now we have seen a few things in drawable. We have seen something called values like strings, right? We have seen this part. So we are going to touch one more folder called menu here, right? So in this menu already there will be some options like menu or main, right? If you want, you can actually touch them, or you can also create your own menus, right? Normally, let us say in our app, right? So we maybe for all screens you can actually keep one menu, or if you want to keep separate for separate menus for separate screens, you can also do that, right? Either of them is possible over here, right? Now, so as of now, what we will do here is we'll just keep we'll take this menu, which is menu.xml, right? Now here you can see there is one item got, we have only one item which is our action settings, which is action settings menu, right? So let me just delete these things. So we'll create our own menus, right? Now by default, whenever you create any XML, right, so this won't be there. So how to create a menu option is, again, you can just right click on this. I'm just showing you how to create that XML. Go to new, go to other. Now you have to select a basic XML file, right? It can be your Android XML file, or you can actually select your normal XML file too. Let me select normal XML file. So let me call it as my menu, right, which is under menu option. Click on finish. Now you can see this is your menu option. Now you can see whenever you create that, right, it will actually add up your this menu, right? Maybe we'll use my menu option here, right? Now here, so this will actually actually, because why this got created is you are actually creating your menu XML under menu. By default, your Eclipse editor will help you to insert this. Until unless you have this tag, right, menu tag, right, you can't actually judge what exactly are the menu items you have. This is the root of your items, right? Now here, let's create items. Now each and every item, you have to define it in something called item tag, right? Where, so following things are few things which are important. First thing is you have to mention the ID of the item. Now let me give one ID, which is ID of, let me call it as something called share, right? So I want to share the app. This is a share ID. So, or let me call it as share underscore menu, right? The first step is ID and the minimum steps and title. Title you can just say, take it as share, right? So this is something which will be shown on your screen. Now anyways, it is saying, it is giving a warning because you should not hard code anything here, right? You have to provide that in your resource. So let us do that part here. Let's not hard code this. Let's go to our values and let's go to strings. So here, let me create a string. So let me just create one divider. Let me just comment it out. So in this, let me just say string name, let me call it as my menu underscore share, right? So here I'm going to give something called share. Now this is my menu, which is key, and the value will be share. So let's come back here. So how to access, this resource over here is, again, just click on @ it will give you all the possible values you want. So I want to access something from string, and what I want to access is my menu share. Give that part. So this string will automatically give you this. So let's start with one menu item, right, and we'll see how we can actually mark them, or let's create all. So let me create one more thing called item, and you have an ID. So @ plus, so let's give it as, so what else we can do something called bookmark. Let us say bookmark underscore menu. There is the ID, and title, let's give it as @ string. Let's go back here and create that string. String name is equal to, let's say you have my menu underscore. So let's create few. So we'll create one for bookmark. So whenever I say bookmark, I want to show it as bookmark here. And here, let's say delete, some delete record. Let me show it as delete. And what else we normally do? We normally do something called save, right? We want to save it, save. and sometimes you want to do something called settings, forget about settings, maybe preferences, right? Okay, let's take this enough, right? We are going to create a context menu for these options, let's say, right? Now let me go back to this. Now here I want to give my bookmark menu. This is one of that. Now let me create one more item where my ID is at the rate. So here next one, what was the next one? Menu, share, bookmark, delete. So let's take delete underscore menu. That is my ID, and let's give the title as at the rate string, which is our delete. This is our second item. So let's create third one. Third one was save. So let me give ID as save underscore menu, and then you have your title as at the rate string. You have my menu save, right? And then you have your item ID. So here I'm gonna take ID as preferences, right? Pref underscore menu. So you have your title as at the rate string. You have my menu of preferences, right? So with this we are ready with our menu, right? So whenever you save this, right, anyways, we know that XML files are raw files, right? So we can't compile them. They are directly converted and copied to our APK file, right? So whenever you want to access this, our Android architecture and Eclipse help us to directly access this mymenu.xml. Now let us see how we can actually tag this menu to our activity, right? So whenever we are talking about activity, which means we are talking about the class file, right? So in class file, if you see, right, by default there will be one method called onCreateMenuOption, right? So this is a method which will be. Now if you don't have that onCreateMenuOption method, then you can actually create that. So let me create that, like onCreate. You have something called onCreateOptions menu, right? This will actually give you everything, right? But by default, if you are using Eclipse, it will actually give where it automatically gives something called getInflator. If you remember again, we have to inflate this. So inflating in the sense we are converting each and every item as a separate view, where we are combining all these views as one view group, and we will actually show it as a menu. So that is what we are doing here. It's a single step where you can see inflator.inflate. So what to inflate? So r.menu here is nothing but you have your menu option here, right? This is a second menu, and instead of menu you can just say dot my menu. You have my menu. So this menu will be mapped to your menu of this. Now this is a single step which will actually map the complete menu, whatever you have created here, to the current context of your menu activity, right? So let us run this and we'll see how we can actually So menu option creation is it's very simple option. The only thing is we have to check how can we handle some task in the sense how to handle a click of menu, right? We'll see that part. Now this is a menu activity. When I click on menu here, right, now you can see share, bookmark, delete, save, preferences. Okay. So this is how now anyways. So as we are using this emulator, right, so maybe this is showing in this way. Maybe if you run the same APK file, if you install this APK file and if you run this app, right, maybe based on the latest UI design of that version of Android, right, maybe this options may be in different way, right? That doesn't matter. What is important here is the menu is being created, right? So as you change anything in your XML or anywhere, right, so this will be affected directly. As of now you can see there are few things, 5 preferences, right? Now let us say I'm going to change one item here. So I'll add one thing here. The preferences will be always at the bottom, right? You have your name. Let me call it as my menu underscore. Let us say I want to take something called search. Right? Let me take it as a search. Right? Which is, let's see, ch search. Go back here to my menu. So here I'm going to create one menu item here. So based on the sequence you're giving in your menu XML, right? The sequence will be maintained. You can say share, bookmark, delete, save, preferences. Share, bookmark, delete, save, preferences, right? That's why I'm just giving you an option to search here. Right? Click on item. So ID, let me give it as, so you'll understand why I'm actually stressing on ID, right? You'll understand this when we actually move on to click part of that. Let's say you have search underscore, you have menu. You have title as @string my menu, you have search, right? That's it. Now let me run this. Always try to recompile everything, because whenever you change any configuration file, this is like a configuration file, right? So your XML, you don't have to redeploy or do anything. You can just replace this file. That's what happens, right? So we have done that, and let me run this. What's up here? Okay, we got some. Okay, so what is the problem with R? R is not generated. Why it is not being generated? Let me clean this up. Is there any issue with this?
I don't know, Srinath, but even I face this problem.
Yeah, no. See, what happens is, if there is any issue inside this application, right? Inside this anywhere, right? Then it will not create. So let us check out no issues. So maybe something have gone wrong. So if you go to, let me close all. Let's go to menu activity first. So here everything is fine, right? We just mapped it. Let's go to menu, my menu.xml here. Now you can see search menu. Okay. So is everything fine here? So we just gave this item, right? So let me remove once, or let me comment it out. Let me recompile this. Oh, it went off, right? So there is some problem with this. So can you see any problem with this one item, guys? Uh-oh.
Add plus ID, maybe.
Can you see what is the problem here? Can anyone just find out what exactly is wrong with this item?
There is no plus sign at the.
Exactly. If you don't give plus item, right? So this will not be added to R.Java. Perfect. So that is one thing, one option here. So until unless your R gets generated, everything will get actually, you'll get an error in all the classes, right? Because in all classes, at least once, right, you'll be using the R class, right? And your R class is not there. So always try to undo your last action, right, and recompile it. If everything goes fine, then there will be some problem with your latest action. That is one thing which you can actually keep on, right? That's fine. It happens. So let me recompile this and run it up. So why is this getting open? Okay, that's fine. Okay, that was our old project. Okay, so when I click on menu here now you can see we got search, right? So that is what we got search. Now in this case you can see that, right, if I'm using this same context menu in 10 different activities, right, then you don't have to touch all the activities. Just change one configuration file and it will be affected in all, right? Now let us get into the next phase. So how can we actually handle the click? That is the main thing, right? Now here in your activity class contains one more internal overrideable method called something called on option item selected. This is your overrideable method, which is called as on option selected method. Now, where are we giving this option that okay, that is a menu. Here you can see we are actually inflating our menu and we are actually assigning that to our menu option. So there is a by reference argument which you are getting from on create menu options, right? So for the whole menu activity, right? So for the whole current instance of your activity, this menu, whatever you have given as a reference, will act as a main menu, context menu for current activity. Right? Now, whenever you say option item selected, right, you can see here it actually gives us the actual item being selected, which is a menu item. So this is the key to get which item is being actually clicked. Right? Now let's go ahead and see what actually we can get it. So here let me create try catch. Right? We can actually return that anyways, that doesn't matter, right? Now here click on, so we are going to create a switch because we never know how many cases we can actually get it, right? How many cases we will actually get in this case of menu. Now here let me create a switch case. Now the key will be our item. So we will always get an ID of the item being clicked. So the ID will be in get ID or yes, get item ID. Right? We all know that switch case will work only for finite numerical values only. Right? You can't use object types like strings. Right? No, you can't use. You have to use a true numeric value in this, right? And obviously your menu item will actually give which indexed item you have actually selected. And so that is what we are getting here indexed. And you can actually map with case. We have already seen one case in our switch, how to map it with our IDs, right? So here you can actually get it from ID. So that is why I have created ID for each and every menu here. The first menu is share menu, right? ID. So you can go ahead and see we will be having share menu, right? So if I click on share menu, I want to do something. Now I can just say, so let me create a string here. So I have a string, let's see, clicked. So once everything is done, I'll just say, let me create a toast here, dot, or we already, okay, let me create a toast. We don't want to use that common toast, dot, make text of application context, and text is selected menu, right? And we'll just print lstr clicked, and duration let's make it as toast.long dot show. Right? Now here in this case of different cases, we'll just assign it to, so if it is share menu, click something called share. I'm just giving here which menu option is being clicked. Now here you can write your own logic based on your requirement, what you want to do on click of menu item, right? You can actually go ahead and do that. Okay? So here you have multiple cases. You have r dot, r dot, you have id dot, the next one you have is share. What is the next one, guys? So you have share bookmark menu, break, right? So here you can just take it as bookmark. So let's go ahead and create now case r dot id dot, so the next one is delete menu, have break, just say lstr clicked is delete. And then you have a case, you have your r dot id dot, we have save menu, break. Never forget break, guys. If you forget one break, I hope you know what exactly happens when you actually forget break and switch, right? And let's try clicked is equal to, just say save. And then anyways, this is a pure Java concept, what I'm talking about. id dot, the next one is search menu and then break. So here you have lstr clicked of search, and then you have case r dot id dot preferences. Something. Right? Now, if nothing is being done, I mean by default, if it doesn't get any case, then just say it has not applicable something. Right? What happened to this? Okay, fine. Right. So this is how we can actually so give different cases, and you can actually handle the things you want. Right. Now you can see options menu item selected is something which will actually get triggered internal to activity class when you actually click on the menu context menu item, and based on the item ID you are actually clicking, you can actually do different tasks here. Now let me run this. So you have your menu project, and click on menu. It will give you menu. Click on share maybe. So you can see selected menu share. Right. So in this way you can actually go ahead and actually create your context menu for your activities, and based on click of anything you can actually do your task. Right. So that's how you can do. So sometimes we basically see something called exit menu, right? So for exit, I can just show you how we can actually create that part. Let me go to strings. Let me create one more string. Name, let me call it as my menu underscore exit. Just say exit.
Sheena, excuse me, I have a question.
Sure, go ahead, Nabila.
Then you are not selecting anything, right? Any option from the menu? It shouldn't say it's not applicable because you're not selecting anything.
Sorry, what is that?
Because if you're not gonna select any menu, right?
Okay.
It should say not applicable.
No. I mean, you can't do that, right? I mean, when I click on menu, right, you have to select either of one or skip, right? If I click on anywhere in my screen, right, the menu will be closed. No. This default is something which you have to handle in your switch case. That's it. It doesn't have to do anything with Android, right? It's a pure Java thing, right? You have to have a default case for your switch. That's it. Fine.
Okay.
It will never be triggered normally, right? Don't worry.
Okay.
So here ID, let me take it as ID called exit underscore menu, and title as string. You have something called my menu exit. Okay. Click on. Now here we can see. I'll show you when we actually get not applicable. We have one menu option here, right? We created one menu option. Let's say I'm not going to handle that part, right? So then obviously no case will be triggered here, right? Then you'll get not applicable. Let me show you that part. So here what I mean is, when I click on menu, you can see exit is here, right? Let me click on bookmark here. You can see bookmark will come. So click on menu here, click on exit here. When I click on exit, then it will give you not applicable, right? Okay. Because we don't have the case of exit, right? So that's why it is not there, right? So here what I'll do, I'll just say case r dot, you have id dot I'll just say exit menu, right? And a break. So then it won't give me, so what I can do here is I can just say exit. Now once this exit is done, I'll just show, okay, I've selected exit, and then we'll just close the activity. So how can I finish the activity? Let's say if my something called menu item, so I'm going to select this items, right? It's okay, the name is item here. If item dot get item ID is equal to dot id dot exit menu, then what I can do, I can just call finish. Finish will actually close our current this. Let me clean this up. Okay, so let me run this. Click on menu now, and you get click on exit. So it will show menu exit, and you can see the current activity got. Oh, you can't see that. Okay, let me just in main menu. Let me just change it as. Main activity, and in my menu here, let me make it as this is menu activity. Fine. Okay, now let me recompile and run it so that you can just see this change been happening. Okay, so you can see this is a menu activity. Click on menu. So when you click on something, right, you can see be selected. So let me click on menu again, and let's click on exit. So we have selected exit, and you can see, right, it went from our current activity to the previous activity, right? So this is how, I mean, I just gave one sample of how, and maybe you can actually go ahead with, different things, what exactly you're looking for, right? So this is how we actually create a menu, and this is how we actually do different things. And you may get, you would have seen something like, you can actually give some images to menus, right? Sometimes you can actually give images to your menus. So in order to give image, right, you have a direct option called icon, right? So maybe you can have that icon in your drawable, right? So this will actually give you image in your beside your activity. Let me run this. I don't know whether it will your emulator will copy the image, but you can try this out with your Android phone, right? So beside the bookmark, beside this menu option, right, it will actually show you some image, right? So all those things you can actually keep them in drawable. Just give an option called icon, right? This will actually it will actually automatically attach your icon. Click on menu. Okay, it won't show that, but you can actually try this in your mobile phone, right? So I gave one icon called IC launcher for my share menu. So in whenever I can see share, right, beside that your image will be populated, right? Right? So that is how you can actually give the icon. Now, normally when I'm talking about icon is normally, right, in our mobile apps, right, we normally give some comparable image to the menu option, right? We don't give direct menu. We give that with our some image, so that user can actually catch up either with name or image, right, directly, right? So in this way you can actually mention the icon for everything. You can just create a drawable or copy the drawable. All the images over here, it can be PNG. PNG will be much better because PNG will be will always will be of high clarity and low size, right? And you can actually use them over here. Never ever use heavy images, guys. First thing is your APK file will get heavy, and second thing is, loading may take some time. If your mobile phone is, it have got a low RAM and processing speed is low, right? Then obviously it has to render the whole image to show upon a small area of your menu, right? Not only menu, any image. So always try to go for lighter images, right? So this is how you can actually create your menus, guys. So let's go ahead and see one more widget actually.
Srinath, I have a question with menu.
Sure, Geeta.
Now we are getting it as like a list, right? It's populated as list. So many times we also see in some of the apps or on phone it has a buttons arranged in a symmetrical way.
Yes. I mean, like you'll get like a table, right?
Yeah, table.
Yeah, the
right.
table. Yes. No, that's what I'm saying. As of now, you can see it as a list, right? But in some Android phones, it will actually show it as a table.
Right.
The same things will actually show it as a separate table as such. Your menu will be shown as a table, so it is an inbuilt option of your Android itself. If your phone is if your phone supports that part, right, then it will actually show up in a table form itself.
Is it that some particular Android version and above are using that?
So normally, I think if it is in Jelly Bean, I think it will actually show up in a table form.
Okay, so it should be there in the phone and nothing.
It should be there because the older versions, right, will not have that table. Don't have table basically showing up in a table form, and you can see even in my emulator, right, it is not even showing the icon, right? Okay, just right. It happens. So try to run this in your maybe deploy it in your mobile phone. Maybe it may arrange in table form, right?
Okay. So nothing to do with code. It just depend on the phone.
Exactly. It should auto arrange your the menus in a table form.
Okay. And Srinath, how about editing the things? I mean.
Sorry. How about?
How about edit menu?
Sorry. How about?
Edit menu.
Okay, edit menu. No, you can add it, right? We can add edit menu. I mean, what exactly edit in the sense? Okay, you want me to show edit menu in this?
Yeah, I mean, I know. Okay, we can just add it as an item and do that.
Okay.
But how to make it work out? Like, okay, if I'm opening a message, I want to edit it and then share it.
No, that is some separate functionality, right? You're talking about.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
So when I'm trying to delete, right, I've just shown you that okay, there can be an option of delete, but we are not actually seeing here what exactly you're deleting. Maybe if you're in a message, which means you're deleting a message. If you're in a mail, you're deleting mail. It all depends, right? Yeah?
Yes, got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, then it's simple. Then it's okay.
Yeah. Maybe you guys can do this task, guys. Create a simple list, right? Create a simple what is that? I mean, your list view, right? Don't go for complex, multiple controls. Give simple list, and whatever list you are selecting, right? Select that list item, go to menu and delete. When you delete it, right, that option should be deleted and your list view should be refreshed. You can just try out that. That will actually give you a good hold on your list view and also in your menu, right?
Okay.
Fine then. So, any more doubts here, guys, in menu? Anything which you have seen you want me to explain, right? Everything is fine? So just try out the example what I was just mentioning. That will actually give you a good exposure on menu, right?
Okay.
And yeah, perfect. Now, so that is all about widgets. Let me show you one more widget. So I don't know whether you guys will be using this or not, but this is something which if you're actually designing any enterprise, not social app, right? Maybe you will be using this. So that is something which is rating bar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know whether you have tried it or not. Now let me just show you that.
Not
Okay, no issues. So Maybe why I'm showing this is sometimes if you're developing any social app, right, sometimes they may need, okay, how do you want to rate? Once, they actually, you're done with, maybe it can be a game or anything, right? So let me show you how it works, basically. So in your rating in your Android, right, if you're using maybe Android version greater than API 8, then your rating bar will be a direct control in your widget. So you will have that rating bar here. This is what I was talking about, your rating bar. Right? So it's a very simple thing. Let me keep rating bar. So, and let me drag one button here. So here, let me just say get rating. So let me call it as PTN rate. Let me go to the class. So when I click on this, so normally how it works is, let me just run it and show you. I'm just taking this example because when I've developed so many social apps actually for few people. I don't know actually what they have done with that, but they wanted to rate the app. They wanted to rate separate activity as such, right? So then I actually use this. And normally you can see here, you can actually rate half of a star or a full star, right? Half of a star or a full star, or a full star and full star, right? So whenever you click on that, right, or when you say get rated, right, so this should actually handle something. Now let me show you how we can actually show how much rating has been given by the user, right? So let me just give try catch. I'm just giving you, maybe this can be helpful for you. Let me call it as LOBJ PTN is equal to find v by id r dot, you have id dot rating bar 1, sorry, you have BTN rate, right? And this is a button, and then let's take rating bar. We have rating bar, it's a widget, LOBJ RT RTMG R maybe. You have R dot, you have ID dot, you have rating bar 1. So here you can just get your button dot set on click listener, new on click listener, and then import your Android view, and here, so this code you can actually use this maybe on click of your even your rating bar. First let us see how we can actually get the rating, right? So here you can actually, let me just create a string, let me call it as LSCR rating, right, is equal to, so you have to take your rating bar dot, you have something called get rating, perfect, get rating, right? So this will actually give you float value. You can see it is a float value, you can just convert. Now why it is giving float is, as I said, you can actually rate half of a star, right, which means if I just give 3 dot something, which means it's a 2.5 rating, right? When I select complete, then it's a 3. That's why it is giving a float. So let me convert it to string. Dot to string, you can actually give a float, right? And let's give a toast here. Dot make text your application context. Just say rating, and this here rating, and duration, take it as toast dot long dot show. Yeah. So this is how you can actually rate it. So we have to give it as a non-final. Okay, we have to make it as a final, so that we can actually get the direct rating bar into this. Okay. So we have to change rating bar. Okay, we have already changed. Run this. So it will actually give you rating mark, and when you select something, let us say I'm just selecting 3, get rating, it will give you 3.0. When I select 3.5, see, you can see 3.5. Right. So in this way you can actually, normally why do we use is whenever you actually rate it, right? So these ratings will be saved in database, right? Normally whenever you click on this, you may have to save these things in database. So when we actually go to our next advanced part of Android, right? So then when we actually go to storage part, then maybe you can see how to store in database, right? So maybe at that case, whenever I'm rating, right, maybe you want to store these details in your database, so that you can actually increase your how many guys are using this, how many guys like this app and all, right? So in that way you can actually rate apps. Fine. So this is all about yes, Geeta?
Yeah. Can we have more stars if I want to give rating out of 7 or 10?
I hope yes. I hope we can actually. So normally, if you want to grow it, right? So let me just go to properties here. Now this is your properties file, right? Now here, so I think yes, you can actually give more, but I haven't tried it. Maybe yes.
Can you show about the progress bar and how it works while loading or something?
Okay, sure. Let me just.
Actually,
Sure. I'll let me just.
yeah, before we go to the next part of
Definitely. So let me just take this one, progress bar one, right? So yeah, what do you want to actually do with this? I mean, normally.
like say suppose until wait of the or loading of new page,
Okay.
it should show
I mean, you
me.
want to give the steps of a progress bar, right? Is that it?
Yes. How much is what time is remaining to
Okay, no issues.
the result
Okay,
of
let me
uploading?
show you that. Definitely. We have, I think, a few kinds of. I think we have at least 7, not 7, 4 to 5 types of progress bars here. Now you can see these one, right?
Right.
So this is a direct way actually. So until unless you get some details that you can actually make this progress bar, right?
Yeah.
So once you actually fill up the data, then maybe you can actually make it. You can hide this, right? So this is one type of that, and you have one more type. So anyway, this is a bigger one, large one, there's a small one, normal one, and you have even this one, which is a not this one, which is progress bar horizontal and C bar. Okay. This one, let me just make it clear, and it all depends on the steps you are giving. Let me just run this and see. Well, first let's see how it works. Why is it taking so much of time? Activity manager. Okay, so here you have a progress bar, but you have to give the step, right? So let's go ahead and see how we can actually give the step here. So here, first let us check some part of ID here. So which will actually give us here No issues. Let's do one thing. Let's take this control, which is progress bar, and let's go back here, which is our progress bar one. Let's go back here and see. So let me take progress bar. Let me call this LOPJ progress. So here, what I'm going to do here is, so we have to set some properties normally. So I'm just comparing with normal Java progress bar. How do we do? So let's first get that progress bar. Find view by ID. You have r dot. You have ID dot. You have progress bar. Is it 1 or 2? I think it's 2. Okay, it's 2. Go faster. Okay, so this will give you a progress bar. And now, so here we have to set some, let me just set something called progress dot. We have something called set max, just set max of 100 steps. Okay. So let's create a for loop here. So where we want to go 10 different times, what we'll do here. So here initially what we'll do, we'll just set the counter. So how can we set counter? We have set counter, we have set count, now set or progress, yes, we have set progress to. So initially let us keep it as 0. Right, so initial thing is 0, and then so once we are done with this, then let's make it as a red dot sleep of some milliseconds, some 100 milliseconds, or let's take some 10 milliseconds to progress, and then the progress dot set progress of, let's say we have to progress by 10. So let us say I want to go from 1 to less than or equal to 10. 1 to less than or equal to 10. So let me give I into 10 here. Right? So which will actually make first 10 progress and then by. So once you set progress, then you have to do something called dot show. There is no show here. Okay, maybe it will actually show us directly. Okay, fine. So we are doing it on.
Srinath, I have a question. Where did you define this? Where did you define this thread dot sleep?
Where did you define? No, this thread dot sleep is something which the current thread, right? So each and every Java class, right? So is a separate thread as such, right? So whenever you just say sleep of the thread, which means you're actually holding the thread for some time. So I just want to show that, okay, it is progressing 10 slots at a time, right? So that's why I'm just making some halt here, right? It will actually halt for some time and then progress to 10, halt some time, progress to 10 and all. I just wanted to show in that way.
So right? Normally, where do you use this thread in Java programming when you are like the way that you are doing the progress bar in these cases?
So progress bar normally we use in something like maybe if you're downloading some file, right?
No, I understand progress bar. I'm saying the thread thing.
Thread thing. Okay. So this you will be using maybe in internet. Let's say whenever if you want to actually access your internet, right? If you want to access your internet, we have to access internet via separate thread. In a same thread, you can't access your internet. It is not allowed in activity as such. In Android, in Android, you cannot directly interact with internet in a same thread. You have to create a separate thread. You have to create a protocol to connect to internet. So in that case, right, so until unless you actually get a positive protocol feedback from server, you have to wait for some time, right?
Oh, okay.
maybe in that case, maybe you can, right? You can maybe do this part, right? So yeah, so this is progress bar. So is it showing that? Okay, it got filled. Maybe what I have to do here is, maybe I'll just increase this to 1000. Let's see what happens now. Oh my, it's taking so much of time. Yeah, so here we have created a separate thread. Okay, so I've created a separate class, my thread, extending thread class, and right, I've written all the progress bar code over here. I'm getting the instance of progress bar 2, right? Okay, I'm creating here because this will not affect our on create method. I'm just starting the thread. Fine, so let's see how it works. So this will load the activity. Yeah, can you see? Right, now this will show you the activity being loaded.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah.
So this is how you actually.
Can you
Sorry?
explain this part? Can you explain this part now? The progress bar is working, and I understand you create a separate class, right? Can you explain it again, please?
Sorry. What was the question?
I said now the progress bar is working, and I know to work this progress bar, you create a separate class, right? Can you explain this class again, please?
Okay, so normally what we were doing, what we did normally was, so we completely, I wrote for loop in on create, right? So until unless you get out of this on create, right, your complete activity will not be painted, right? First step. So which means I should actually complete the painting of activity. I mean, loading of activity should be done. Parallelly, I have to run a separate process which can actually show the process, right? So how can I create a separate process? I can create a separate thread for that, right? So for that, what I have done is internal to this class, I have created a separate class which extends a thread. I am going to convert this complete class into a thread class.
Okay.
Right? And what I am doing here is, so whatever instance you have created, right, the progress bar, right? So this progress bar is nothing but the progress bar the instance of progress bar which is here, right? I've taken that part now. So on create, you can see that I'm creating an object of this thread and just said start. So whenever I just start the thread, right, now this will never interrupt the current activity. So it will be running on background. So whatever I've created is a background process as such.
Oh, okay.
Now it's a complete background process. Let me show you that. So how this changes. Let me show you one thing here. Let me take a text view. I'll show you whether it is working or not. So right. So let me just take a text view here. So this text view, let me call it as txt view progress. Right. So initially, let's say I don't want anything to show, and here let us say, so I will take the text view here. R dot, you have id dot text view progress, and I'm going to add a typecast first. And this text view, what I'll do here is I'll just say text view dot set text of, just say loaded here I'm going to take something called I, right, and percentile. So this much of thing loaded, right? So let me run this now. So you just see how the background process works, right? Apart from progress bar, it is not only progress bar which you can actually run on this, right? You can also have a control which is being fed parallelly. Normally we basically create more background process, so whenever you're actually loading up a heavy data of list view, we do that in our separate process, separate thread actually. So this is separate topic actually. I'll explain you multi-threading, how we can actually populate them separately too, right? This is how I'm going to actually do the same thing even over there, right? So this will be the same. Normally this is complete multi-threading which we will be using. Now using which we can actually create a background process of our activity, fine. So let us see. So now it says start activity. Whenever it starts, right? So your on create method is completed. So till this part your on create is completed, and you can see here 10% completed. So what's happening here? Is there any problem with this? Just say progress is equal to, you have I into 20 then, right? Sorry. So let me convert it to integer dot to string of I into 10, and I want to show this progress over here. So even if anything happens, let's say I'm going to write try catch here. So I'm going to use this progress. So how much is progress? The percentage loaded. So let me run this again. It is starting an activity. Okay, you can just do one thing. Let's go to menu and let us start an activity. So it is widgets 2. So it will open up and right, it will load. Anyways, the text view is not being shown. That's fine. You can just try out with this text view, or sometimes you also have in progress bar something called something called your set. Is it set message? Set text. Set tag. No, you have to create it separately. Yeah, I've just created this text progress, view progress, and we are setting text here, but it is not showing. Anyways, you can just try out that, okay? So this, when you set text, right, so what it will do, it will actually continuously set text of this based on how much progress has been loaded. 10% loaded, right, 20% loaded. So as it goes, it will be showing that. Fine. So now anyways, this is how you can actually use a progress bar to show that. Fine. So once it is completely done, maybe you can just dispose this progress bar and get back to your activity. Fine. So that will be all for this. So you can just give a try on this more, right? And if you have any doubts, let me just take up that. Actually, go create an activity. So when you click on something, like it will open some options. So when you select one of the options, it should go back and actually give that result back to the mother activity. So that is something which we call as a activity result. We'll see how to do that part. Fine. So that will be our agenda for the next class. Fine. Okay then, guys.